Today, we're talking about trends. We're talking about yoga marketing trends. What's going to be important for you in 2023 as a yogipreneur, as a yoga business owner, as a marketer. Grab a pen and paper. I've got lots to share with you today. And yeah, we're talking trends. And I think, we're in 2023, right? And if the last few years have taught us anything when it comes to our business, the real test now, the real test of your business and marketing skills is really how well you're able to adapt to change. And there's been a lot of change going on, right? So I've been digging out some stats whilst I've been putting this masterclass content together for you guys. And 80% of marketers say that their industry has changed more in the last 3 years than in the last 50. It's changing at such a rapid rate. And, if you think of the last 3 years, a lot has happened, right? A lot has happened. And, one of the main reasons for this is because consumers are changing. Like we are changing, like we're changing. Our attitudes and, our preferences are changing all the time. And so it's up to us as business owners and as marketers and brands to really keep up with that. And so we really must be willing and able to change our strategies and how we're approaching, showing up in our business and marketing our services and selling, right? We've got to keep our finger on the pulse. Like we've got to be listening to our students and really making sure that we know like what's happening in the space and what's happening around us. There's many external forces at play, right? Because, what worked last year doesn't necessarily work today. And, because of that, I really believe that the yoga teachers, the yogipreneurs, you guys listening to me right now, the ones who win in 2023 are the ones who really listen to their community. Yeah, those of you who are doing surveys, right? Those of you who are taking the time to niche down. You have to get super specific about who you're serving. When you do that, you learn so much. Like you learn so much about who you're serving, about the problem that you're solving. And that makes your marketing more effective because marketing is communicating the problem that you solve. And so, if you can become more data-driven, right? And that's not something that's new. Like being a data-driven marketer is crucial, right? I mean, it's not something that's new. I can remember when I did my marketing degree back in 1999, there was a data-driven marketing module, right? So it's not new, it's important. And it's even more important today because as we know, the space that we're in is rapidly changing, right? So niche down. Who here doesn't have a niche? You must have a niche in 2023. Get on it. Yeah, do it. If you haven't already, this isn't going away. And, the yogipreneurs who succeed and thrive online are those of you who have chosen, right? Who have really decided on your niche and you know who you're serving. So tell me if you have a niche, guys. Tell me if you have a niche. And I'm really just setting the scene. We're going to be talking more about trends, but I'm just setting the scene here about the space that we're in and, how quickly things are moving and why it's so important for you to have insight, to have data. When you know who you're serving, you know the ins and outs, right? You know the ins and outs of your people because you've done the work, you've done the research. It's just like the teachers inside the Profitable Yoga Teacher Program, our students, they go deep. They implement what's called the emotional driven survey, and then they create their copy Bible. And, one of our graduates, Claire Ellie, she says it's groundbreaking. When you have that messaging, everything clicks. So this isn't really a trend, like this is a necessity in order to not just survive, but really thrive in this space that you're in, and to be able to, create that messaging that really cuts through this noisy space, that reaches your people and converts them into paying students. And that's what you want, isn't it? That's what you want. You want to grow your community and you want to grow your bank account as a result. We start there. We start there today, niching. Like, don't delay with this, because everything I'm going to talk about, in terms of marketing, I can tell you all the trends, but if you haven't done this key piece, if you haven't set your foundation, none of these trends, none of these strategies that I'm going to share with you, they're not going to work. You need that foundation. You can't market. Marketing isn't effective unless you know who you're marketing to. Know everything about your people, right? Make it your job to know everything about your ideal students. So before I dive in, there's another little foundation here. There's another little setting of a scene going on here. But before I dive into the tactical side of things, I want to start with a trend, but I don't really think that trend is the right word, because I don't see this as something that's going to be like trendy this year and then not trendy next. Instead, it's more of a focus area in terms of your marketing, and it definitely needs to be a focus for you if it hasn't been up until now. And I'm talking about customer retention and community building, right? Customer retention and community building. So I'm gonna actually be using some terminology today. There's gonna be some marketing terminology that's gonna be shared with you guys today, and don't fear it, okay? It might go a little bit over your head, but today is an opportunity for you to be a marketing student and to put your marketing hat on. So I'm going to explain everything, but I'm talking about customer retention, right? Keeping our customers in our community, and in order for you to do that, it's essential for you to build a community that people stay a part of, right? That's essential. So here inside this Facebook group, there's a community, right? This is a community. It's not like what you get on Instagram, is it? The community aspect here, where you guys are posting your content, user-generated content. That's a big theme for this year as well, user-generated content. So this is a community right here, okay? And your community could be in Facebook, it could be in any community kind of forum. There's lots of them. There's one called Circle, there's one called Mighty Networks. There's lots of them popping up. Kajabi has its own version, but a private space for people to have conversations and to connect with. That's community. Your community is also in your email list, but we'll talk about that in a little while. But this is a big marketing focus for 2023. You do this, you focus on customer retention, and you are going to see your business transform. And one of the reasons for that is, if you're doing all of these marketing strategies, which we're going to talk about more in a moment, but for those marketing strategies to really stick and for them to be effective, you need to be focused on building a loyal community of people, okay? And for these people to be really aligned with you and your values, okay? That's what we're talking about here. So shared values. That's really what helps a community to stick together, isn't it? Shared values, shared topics that they're discussing and talking about and interested in, just as you guys in this group, you're interested in marketing your yoga business. There's various topics that you'll talk about, from platforms to video editing to growing your email list. All of these things bring you together. The opposite of this is focusing on simply going viral, right? We know this used to be a big thing. Oh, I want to go viral. I want my reel to go viral, or just growing on Instagram, or using like growth hacking bro marketing techniques. these things are out, they're out. Things like that, like focusing on vanity metrics, like how many likes or how many followers you have. We can waste so much energy doing that, guys, and it really is not what's going to help you to thrive. Your community, building your community is what helps you to thrive. So instead of that, those vanity metrics, and feeling like, everything we do is about going viral, actually looking at engagement and loyalty. Like, are your people actually sticking around? Are you going live in your Facebook group and seeing the same names? People joining you, interacting with you. It takes time, right? It takes time. Of course it does. Like, I started this group in April 2017. 0. There was no one in it. It takes time. It takes time. And so, thinking about, I have to have, thousands of followers, like it might look impressive, like gone are the days, or back in the day where people used to buy followers. Like it might look impressive, but it doesn't pay off in the long run if there's no shared values and those people don't stick around. Okay, your community, they need to be your ideal students, and this is why your niche always comes back to that, super important. And so what you want to be doing is not thinking about how can I get the most followers in the quickest amount of time, but how can I build a community of loyal and engaged people who are really aligned with what I stand for. Yeah, and what I'm putting out there. So if you take the time to do this, like marketing's going to be a hell of a lot easier. It's going to be more effective, because those people are going to buy from you again and again and again. Yeah, and I see this all the time. There's students in my community that have come into multiple offerings. They're buying again and again and again. In the marketing world, there used to be this old rule of thumb that says it costs 5 times as much to attract a new customer than it does to keep an existing one. Okay, so customer acquisition 5 times as much than customer retention. Now there's a stat that says it costs 25 times more. Yeah, customer acquisition costs 25 times more than customer retention. And, it's because it's much easier to turn your existing student into a repeat student than it is to, turn a complete stranger that's just found you for the first time on Instagram into a customer. Yeah, so we know this, right? We know this, but sometimes we're so focused on, I've got to get new people into my community. I've got to grow my community to thousands and thousands and thousands. You can be successful with a small, engaged community. You really can. The answer is to focus on converting your existing community that you started to build up, even if it's small. Even if it's small, you'd be surprised. You put a new offering out there. If you have people that have come into something with you previously, reach out to them personally. Tell them about that offering. You'd be surprised. People don't do that, and they're really just leaving money on the table because actually those people want to learn from you. They do. And so it's really, it's far more powerful to have a small engaged community than it is to have this huge community that's kind of unaware of what you really have to offer. Focus is a focus area, right? It's a focus area for you is to really think about customer retention. And as I said, like we all start from 0. Like when I started back in 2017 with Digital Yoga Academy, I started with 0. And now we have a community of 20,000 yoga teachers. Before Digital Yoga Academy, when I was teaching yoga and running retreats, I built a community, i.e. an email list, because that's, as I said, your community are on your email list, of 5,000 students, in London, across the UK, also some abroad, right? And of course it's hard, it's hard work, but it pays up, it pays off, because your offerings fill up. Here at Digital Yoga Academy, like, we've had thousands of teachers now go through our programs. With Good Yoga Life, I had sold out retreats, 25 of them sold out because of community. So this has always been important. It's always been important, but if you're just focusing on vanity metrics, numbers, the bright lights of Instagram, you need to shift your focus. Yeah, you need to shift your focus. Algorithms change, paid advertising is becoming more expensive. All of these things are happening externally, but if you continue to nurture your community, even if it's small, your business will grow, guys. I promise you. As you launch new things, maybe online courses, memberships, workshops, right? Your students will continue to buy from you. Those same people who come to your workshop, will then go into your online membership when you launch it. Yeah, because they loved your workshop, that you already started to build some trust and connection. They're more likely to come into your online membership. Maybe they're going to come and join you in Ibiza or wherever it is, Sri Lanka or Bali, for your retreat. Perhaps then, they love it so much, they're like, oh my gosh, now my teacher has got an online course, I'm going to go into that. Perhaps they go through your online course and they want to work with you one-to-one. It's a funnel, really. It's a product suite that you can create and move your students on a journey with you, okay? And, they'll do this over time. Like, it's a period of time that this will happen. This, another little marketing term for you, or a few terms coming at you. This is your customer life cycle. Yeah, this is the customer life cycle, and it's your job as a business owner to increase the customer lifetime value. Okay, so it's the amount of money that your students spend with you over time. Yeah, so the length of time and the amount of money. Your goal is to increase that number so that the average spend is increased, gets higher and higher. And like this, what I'm talking about right now is super, super important. It probably might sound a bit geeky and maybe a bit over the head, but it's super important. Like, this is what it means to understand, to truly understand what marketing is about. This, what I'm talking about right now. Like, when you understand this, like when this is your goal, to increase the lifetime spend of your customers, it's not necessarily about all the new people that you're going to attract into your community and grow. Look after the people that you already have. Isn't that a lot easier? Consumers in general, right? This is what's happening in terms of a trend right now. Consumers are taking longer to buy. And think about your own behavior. Yeah, consumers are taking longer to buy. Like, they're taking longer to make buying decisions, right? Which means for you, it means that they stay in your community much longer than previously before they make a decision to spend money with you. Okay, they're going to hang around a little bit longer. They're going to lurk around to see what you're about. Yeah, because they're savvier, right? People have become savvier with their purchasing decisions, and they're looking at all the options. There's many options out there. And so they're taking more time to interact with you across different channels before they commit to buying. Yeah, they're considering their options and they're taking more time. And also another reason is because there's so much going on. There's so many messages going on that quite often we see something and we're like, oh yeah, I'm going to come back to that. And whereas maybe in the past we might have been like, oh, okay, I'm going to get that now. It's like it stays in the back of our mind for a little while longer while there's all the other messages that are going on. Sure you can relate. Yeah, and so it's like, and then, we're kind of interacting with that brand, and finally we're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to get that now, that thing. right? And so it used to be that customers would interact with you across 7 touch points, right, before making their decision, okay? So touch points being different interactions that they have with you. That could be coming into your studio if you have an in-person studio. It could be reading your email. It could be, watching a story. It could be joining your live weekly live training, whatever it is, but 7 different touch points. Now, okay, and I looked this up today, the average customer journey, okay, now involves between 20 and 500 touch points, which means, there are people in your community that are consuming your content, interacting with you, okay, consuming your content if you're sharing it, which hopefully you are, but they're doing that for a longer period of time before they buy from you. So that's what's happening. This is a trend. This is a trend that's happening in the space right now. And it brings me to the second kind of trend, and I'm not doing this in any particular order really, but the second trend is what's called, exactly, there's lots going on here. I hope you're listening very well. I hope you're paying attention. There's a replay so you can watch it back. But I love all this. And the second trend that I'm talking to you about, guys, is what's called omnichannel presence, right? Again, don't stress about these terms. Essentially, we're putting our marketing hat on today, okay? This is what we're doing. You're learning from a marketing expert, so you need to put your marketing hat on. Omnichannel is essentially using multiple channels. That's it, really. That's just the fancy name that marketers give it. Omnichannel, okay? So it's not just focusing on Instagram. It's not just focusing on YouTube. If our customers are taking longer to purchase from us and they're in the space for longer, you bet they're across all of these different channels, okay? So the more you can be on these channels, the more touch points they're going to have with you, okay? The more chance you're going to have that they're going to buy from you, okay? Because there's more encounters that they're going to have with you online. So I don't say this to stress you out. Oh my God, I've got to be on all of these different channels. Bear with me. But the way you do this is through your content, right? It's through your content strategy. So we must have a content strategy. You need to learn how to repurpose your content, okay? To share it across multiple channels and in multiple different ways. And so shout out to the Profitable Yoga Teacher Program students. I see you there in the chat. You guys know how to do this, right? This is what we teach you, how to do this inside the program. Our students are learning how to create content and repurpose their content so that they can share it across different channels and in different ways. And this really is how we're able to be everywhere with our content. And so, don't fear this, guys. Be excited about it, because this is how you have those touch points. This is how you have these interactions with your ideal students who are also in all of these different places, thinking and taking their time about their buying decisions, looking at who they can be learning from, looking at, who they are building that trust with and that relationship with. Let it be you. Let it be you, because you've learned how to create a repurposing content strategy that allows you to be in these places, okay? So in 2023, you need to be on multiple channels. Like, don't just focus on YouTube and say, okay, my channel for 2023 is going to be YouTube. I'm going to focus just all my efforts there. Unless you've got some kind of, support to have some full production YouTube channel that you're going to build up, you're going to struggle to grow there if that's your only focus, really. Your students, they are consuming on YouTube, of course. They're also on Instagram, they're searching online, on Google, they're on TikTok, especially the Gen Zs, they're on TikTok. That's where they're searching. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But they're going to be everywhere. And so this isn't more work. This isn't more work. This is simply about a content strategy and visibility. Yeah? Marketing hat. So there's no need to feel overwhelmed. Like, if this is where your gaps are, you get support with it, really. You know, you didn't know how to teach yoga, did you? And you went out and you got support and you got training so that you could become a yoga teacher. It's the same. You know, there's this misconception that you're supposed to know all of this stuff. Would you agree with that? You know, you become a yoga teacher and now you need to know how to do all the marketing and be a business owner. There's this misconception that you're supposed to know all of this. Like, I only know about marketing because I did a marketing degree, followed by a master's in marketing management, worked in marketing for almost 20 years and have had 2 businesses. Like, we're not born with this information inside of us. So where are the gaps? Ask yourself where the gaps are and get the support that you need with this, because this is super important, you know, to really be in this space now that is moving at such a rapid rate. We need to up our game, right? We need to up our game, our marketing game. You know, how are we going to have a connection and authenticity and powerful? What are all those words that you shared earlier? How are we going to be all of those things if we're not upping our game? So I went off on a little tangent. Omnichannel, that's what I was talking about. Quite simply repurposing your content, right? To create it and share it across multiple channels. That's what we're talking about. Don't just focus on Instagram, you know, where you think the bright lights are. You know, where else can you be? You know, is it TikTok? Is it Messenger, SMS, LinkedIn, Pinterest, you know? And of course, the one that you should never forget, your email list. Yeah, because as I said, that's where your community's at, you know? So going back to my first point around customer retention and building your community is your email list. And we'll come onto that in a little while, because, you know, email marketing, it's not a trend. It's robust, isn't it? It's reliable. It's steady marketing strategy, right? Let's call it the queen. Like, we call content the king. Content marketing is the king, is what we say in the marketing world. Content is king. Let's say email is queen, right? And, you know, it's certainly my favorite marketing strategy. And I do have a trend in email marketing, yeah, that I'm going to share with you shortly. But coming back, give your community multiple ways to engage with you. Yeah, that's what's going to build trust. Like, that's what's going to build authority. And, you know, we have to build that know, like, and trust factor. Yeah, we've heard that. You know, that the repeated exposure, which is why this omni-channel marketing really is a must for your yoga business in 2023. So Digital Marketer found that marketers using 3 or more channels earned a 287 higher purchase rate than those using single channel marketing. 287 higher purchase rate for using 3 or more channels. Customer retention rates are 90% higher for omni-channel versus single channel. And customers have a 30% higher lifetime value. Okay, all the things that we've been talking about, right? The retention rates, lifetime value. You know what these things are now. You're marketers, right? So you know these things now. I mean, these stats speak for themselves, right? They do, don't they? So, you know, how can you show up across lots of different channels? Video, right? Video marketing. Yep. Video marketing, like, this has been on the rise for years. Yeah, it has. And we've seen variations of it, haven't we? We've seen some kind of fads come and go, you know, so it's not really new as such. But if you're not using it right now, you need to hop on board. Like, you can't ignore this anymore. Like, it's the biggest strategy, biggest marketing strategy of 2023, video marketing. If you're not using it, like if you are fearful because you're scared to be on video, you're scared to be visible, you have to make your message much bigger than those fears. Leave those fears behind now in 2022, right? We leave that version of us behind. That is an old version of you. Let that sink in, let that land. That is an old version of you, guys. That is old news. Can we please take on this mantra? That's 2022. We're not doing that anymore. Please, I'm using it in almost everything. It's great. It's great. Me and my friends and I are sharing that mantra with each other at the moment. We're like, 2022, see ya. That is not you anymore. I promise you. That is not you. That's old news, right? So that is not how we show up as entrepreneurial yoga teachers in 2023. Okay? It's not. You, right now, like, quite frankly, you're all here for a reason. You're here for a reason. I like to think about the space, right? Just really feel into it right now and everything that's happened over the last few years. And here you are as a yoga teacher with a gift to share. That gift to share is helping to serve people around the world, is helping to heal people around the world. You have a very specific purpose and a place in this world right now. You have a message to share. So we have to step into that now and own that responsibility, or whatever you want to call it, but own your place right here, right now. You're here for a reason, and that reason is to share your message and is to serve your community. So you must get out of your comfort zone. You've got to get over yourself, basically. It's not about how you look, right? It's not about, oh, I look or I sound stupid. It's not about that anymore. That's 2022, right? We have to move past that, because video, like, is where it's at. It really is. It's where it's at. It's really how you can share your message in the quickest and easiest way. Why? Because people love consuming video. Yeah, people love consuming video. And so it's where it's at. And what are we really seeing the rise of here? We're seeing the rise of short form video, aren't we? Right? The Reels, the TikToks, the YouTube Shorts, right? Even Pinterest. Pinterest has story pins. Every platform has its version of short form video. And definitely TikTok is going to be even more huge than it is right now. I think what we're really going to see in the space is like people being more creative, right? And right now in my team, we're talking about what our strategy is for TikTok. I said today, we can't ignore this anymore. We can't ignore it anymore. It was one of those ones that I resisted. I think I've got two TikToks on there, but we're going to focus on it. Well, we're going to give it a go, definitely. TikTok is going to dominate the social space in 2023. And again, if your target market, if your people in your niche are in Gen Z, they're on TikTok. That's where they are. So another kind of short form video content that's really going to take off is YouTube Shorts, right? So I'm predicting this will be another thing that just blows up. And this is because YouTube is already huge, right? They are the original video channel, and they rarely add new features. So you can bet that they've really thought this one through. You're going to see this short form video become very creative, I think. There's a lot of creators, right? There's a lot of creators, especially on TikTok, and it's going to become more quirky. It's going to become more sophisticated and clever with editing. And essentially what this means for you is it just becomes more fun, right? It's like we're not taking ourselves too seriously here. really. You know, it's how can you have a little bit more fun with this? And it doesn't have to look so polished, you know, it can just be a bit more natural, a bit more of a mashup, fun, telling a story, that kind of thing. And so like the challenge is like, how do you make your video stand out? So it's not just you talking to a camera, but what else can it be? Behind the scenes, some funny clips, you know, make it fun. And that's cool, right? We want to make our marketing fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. So short form video, right? It's definitely, you know, going to explode. I mean, it is exploding, really. Yeah, loving all your comments, guys. Keep them coming. But it's not the only form of video to use, is it? You know, long form video also has a place, right? Long form video. So, you know, take what you're watching now. Take what you're watching now. Like, this is the way to truly add value, isn't it? And build trust. And also, this kind of long form video actually provides an easy way for you to repurpose your content, okay? So I can go live, yeah, so live streaming video is a form of video. I can then create probably 20 1-minute clips from this video alone. I can use the audio from my podcast. Yeah, I can upload this video in different places. I can put it on YouTube. I can put it on my website. I can make a GIF from my video and share that in my email so that people can click through and then go and watch it on YouTube. I can do all of these things. And, you know, remember your community, they need to see value from you before you buy, before they buy even. They need to see that. So give them lots of places for them to learn with you. You know, they've got the short form video that might be fun and inspiring and entertaining. And then there's long form videos such as this that's going to educate them and offer them value and really help to build trust. Yeah, so let's not just get caught up in all the short form and forget about this as well. I really believe that both the long form and the short form work hand in hand together. You know, this isn't just about, you know, creating 30-second dancing videos. I mean, even those have kind of had their heyday, wouldn't you agree? Really, it's kind of moved on a little bit from that. So as I'm saying, just to round that one up, the two, you know, they both work hand in hand. You know, short form is how you grow your community, really. And then the long form is how you nurture those relationships and then convert people through that value that you're sharing. So everything I've shared really so far is kind of working together, isn't it? You know, the customer attention, the community building thing, part of it, you know, the content across different channels because people are taking longer. Yeah, they need to build more trust. They need to see you in different places before they actually spend money with you. And then your video strategy, you know, it allows you to be in all of these different places as well. So moving on from that, another trend really for 2023 is audio content. Okay, so this is actually your podcast. So anyone here have a podcast? Does anyone here have a podcast? So as you know, we have the Yogipreneur podcast. Hopefully some of you have listened to that. We've had 130,000 listeners on the podcast, which is just incredible. Considering it's repurposed, right? It's repurposed audio content. So this is how you reach a global audience. Like we've had many students come into our programs, many students come into the Profitable Yoga Teacher program who have discovered me through the podcast. You know, that hasn't cost me anything to attract that person into my community. And, you know, people are listening on the go. Like we are busier and busier, right? So we're listening on the go. Yeah, we're listening as we go. Maybe we're going for a run, or you're on your bike, or you're driving, or you're on the bus, you're commuting, whatever it is, washing up, whatever it is, we're listening as we're doing things. And so you have an opportunity to be on iTunes, Spotify, and all of these other podcast channels where people are literally searching for your topics. I mean, think about it. When you go into Spotify or iTunes, you're searching, aren't you? You're searching for a specific topic. Specific. So this is why you need to be specific so that you show up. And so you can reach new audiences. It's as simple as that. Like if you are repurposing, make sure you've got a podcast. Yeah, make sure you've got a podcast. This is only going to continue to grow. Really. You know, it's an excellent way to grow your authority in your space as well. So when it comes to, you know, creating partnerships and collaborations, having a podcast really helps to elevate you in your space. Yeah, and elevate your authority in that space. So that's one thing to have a think about. How could you start your podcast in 2023? Okay, let's talk about AI. Any thoughts on AI? Artificial intelligence, because you know it's not going anywhere, is it? Like the future has literally arrived. Like AI is officially everywhere now. It's officially everywhere. You know, if you think about so a few examples, TikTok for example. So there are, you know, you can have backgrounds that are like AI inspired effects. You know, so you can change your background just by typing something in TikTok, it will change it. Chatbots as well are getting a lot better, more conversational because of AI. Yeah, chatbots. What else have we got? I mean, we have a chatbot. So has anybody interacted with our chatbot, the DigiYogi bot in Messenger? So we use a tool called ManyChat. Yeah, ManyChat, which is the DigiYogi bot. And if you've come into the Profitable Launches 5-day bootcamp, right, which is what we're hosting on the 1st of February, it starts. When you come into that event, when you sign up for that event, you receive a number of emails. And in one of those emails, we ask you, okay, I think it's in the second email on day number 2, we ask you if you want to receive automated notifications for when the masterclasses are going live, right? Anyone recognize what I'm talking about right now? And so if you do want to receive those notifications, you click on a button and it takes you to the DigiYogi bot in Messenger, right? So you interact with Digital Yoga Academy and our automated messenger bot, basically, which is obviously powered by AI. So, you know, you can make it fun. You can make it fun, but essentially, this is helping you to boost engagement with your customers, especially as you grow and you have more interactions, you have more people reaching out to you and contacting you. There are tools that you can use to have those interactions. And you don't have to pretend it's you. Like you can create like a little artificial bot, exactly how we have. You know, you can make it fun. You know, AI can also help you with, you know, SEO, can also help you with, you know, making your video editing quicker. Like there's lots of different tools out there. There's things that can add subtitles to videos. So there's definitely ways to help you save time in your business and to help with productivity. But it absolutely cannot replace you, right? Your value, your personality, your insight, your gifts. I really believe that AI is valuable to you in terms of helping you with editing and things like that, and research and things like that, if you choose to use it. But it's definitely something that is here to stay and it's not really going to go away. But it doesn't take away, you know, what a human can bring to the table. And, you know, I really hope that it doesn't go too far, you know. So it's like one of those things to kind of to keep a watch on, definitely, but just look at some of the tools that are out there that may be able to help you with you know, making systems in your business easier, automating things, and Yeah, and just helping you to be more productive, essentially. There's tools there to be more productive. So don't just think, oh my God, AI, robots, I'm staying away from that. How can you help? How can it help you to be more productive in your business? So that's definitely something we're going to see more of. Definitely, 100%. Another trend is that's kind of taking more center stage is SEO, okay? And not just the SEO on your website, like as in your blog, but also on social media. Again, especially with Gen Z, like they're using they're using TikTok and Instagram to search, right? People are now using Instagram and TikTok to search for things. They're not going on to Google, they're searching in social media, which is super interesting. So for you as a creator, it really means that you have to think about your captions, and putting those keywords in your captions is going to be more important than ever. Okay, so it's quite interesting how things are changing, right? How people are it's starting to change how people are searching for things. And I don't believe that your website SEO is going to go away. Definitely not. Like, if anything, organic search in general is going to become even more important for you as a marketer. And because the reason for that is because paid advertising is becoming more challenging. Yeah, so one of the things that's happening this year with Google is they're going to remove third-party cookies. Okay, so these are the cookies on the internet, on your websites, on different websites that are tracking what people are doing. And due to privacy, again, that's another sort of trend, more privacy in what we're doing and how we're sharing online. But Google are going to remove third-party cookies, which means ads are going to change, right? Facebook and Instagram ads are going to change. And we've already had a change in recent years with Facebook and Instagram ads, okay, with the ISO 14 changes. That shook everything up. This is a similar kind of update. And so paid marketing is going to change in a big way. And that means organic marketing, i.e., your SEO on your website so people can find you more easily, is going to become even more important. So optimize your website, guys. You guys in the Profitable Yoga Teacher Program will know about this, right? You'll know about how to optimize your website, how to optimize it for conversions, and how to optimize it for SEO. How to get people to find your website. We don't want to have a website and it just sits there and no one ever discovers it. You need to look at SEO. There's no point in having a website otherwise, right? Fresh content, keywords are the basis of that. That's not going away. It's going to become more prevalent, right? More prevalent because the paid advertising space is changing. Like, we teach all of this inside the Profitable Yoga Teacher Program. Okay. Can you thrive in yoga marketing without paid ads? 100% yes. 100% yes. Like, you should always be focusing on organic growth before you even think about paid ads. Get your organic growth in place first. Your content, partnerships, visibility, showing up. Get all of that in place. Your content strategy, essentially. Your omnichannel presence, right? Your email marketing. How you're showing up with partners in your space. Get all of that in place first. Your website, optimize it for SEO. Get that in place first before you start thinking, that's such a mistake to make. It's like, I just want to set something up and I'm just going to run ads. No, it doesn't work anymore. Back in the day, it did work back in the day because those companies like Facebook, Instagram, Meta, now it's called Meta, of course, they were subsidizing it essentially They were subsidizing it because they wanted to get all of these brands into their system buying ad space. And over time, it just becomes more and more expensive, right? But they've already locked you in. They've got their customers there, spending money in Ads Manager. They subsidized it. So, for marketers, we were like, oh, wow, I can buy a lead for 20p. It's not costing me anything. That doesn't happen anymore. So, we have to be thinking about organic growth. Yeah, and isn't that great? We want to be able to grow organically. We want to be able to build our community with people who are sharing our values, who want to be in that space, who want to open our emails, who want our content, who want to digest this, who want to come into our offerings. Isn't that the place that we want to be? Of course it is. So actually that leads me on to inclusive marketing, right? This is another trend. And really it's about how your yoga brand is culturally relevant across the channels that you're on. Really look at that in 2023. How are you bringing in diversity and equity and inclusion into your marketing? How are you connecting with audiences with different cultures and backgrounds? This is important, guys. And, a lot of effort has been made in the last, in recent years around this, but it's definitely still an issue that needs more work, right? It needs more work, and it needs to be improved, and especially in the yoga space, right? The yoga space should be inclusive, and this means your marketing needs to be inclusive. And so it's, more important than ever that you're not alienating people in your niche market, in your niche, but you're not alienating people in your niche. And so, inside the Profitable Yoga Teacher, we have a diversity, equity, and inclusion expert, Donna Noble. Some of you guys may know her. She's also an incredible yoga teacher based in the UK. She's an author and she's a coach, and she's inside our program, and she supports the students, the teachers that come inside our program with this, specifically with this. So definitely something that you need to be thinking about, how your brand is socially responsible and more inclusive in 2023. Lastly, let's move on because I've been talking for an hour now. Thank you so much for staying with me. This is the masterclass of all masterclasses. But lastly, email marketing, right? The queen. She showed up finally. The queen of all strategies. And I'll keep it short and sweet, okay? Because if you want to learn about email marketing, go to the Yogipreneur podcast. There are plenty of episodes on email marketing. But a trend that I'm seeing specifically in the email marketing space is more conversational interactions. Right? More conversational interactions. How can you, given that we know that social media is just, huge right now and very conversational, how can you make email more social? Because actually, if you think about it, email is the original social media. Right? Email existed before Instagram and Facebook and everything else. Email has been there. It's sturdy. It never went away. It's like the original. It's the original. It is. It's the original. It's the goat. That's what it is. It's the goat of marketing, not the queen. So how can you make email more social? You make it more conversational. So, it might not be long emails. It could be a short and sweet email where you're asking a question. You're literally asking a question. And how can you make it more like a message? Is basically what I'm trying to say to you. And we've been doing this. We are having more and more conversations with you guys in email right now. It's another touch point, isn't it? You know, what we don't want our emails to become are just broadcasts. We want to use the opportunity to actually have a conversation. Yeah, this is why. Reply. Exactly this. And I sometimes wonder whether, you know, we even need to say that. Reply. Yeah, exactly. Reply back. Because in a message, you wouldn't say that, would you? You'd just ask a question. You wouldn't say, hey, reply back to my WhatsApp. You wouldn't. So it's an interesting one to experiment with. But I really believe that this year is the year that email becomes more social. But essentially, nurture your people, right? Nurture your people, focus on the people you've got. Use video. Look at how you can repurpose and be in all of the places without feeling overwhelmed. You don't need to feel overwhelmed. Get support with that if you need the support. It's here, right? It's here. The support is here. I just want to thank you for being here and staying with me. We've got the boot camp, the 5-day Profitable Launches boot camp happening on the 1st of February. Come and join us inside that if you want to learn about how to create your online yoga course. It's going to be the first steps. Of course, you're not going to create and launch your yoga course in 5 days, right? It's the first step. It's giving you a taste of what to expect inside the Profitable Yoga Teacher program. And the doors for that program will be opening in February after the boot camp. Okay, so the boot camp is part of our launch strategy. I mean, I share all this and I'm totally transparent. This is what's coming up. So come into the boot camp and it's going to give you an idea as to what sort of support you get when you come into a program with us. If you've signed up for the boot camp, you've got 2 weeks to get yourself into the Yogipreneur podcast, digest our freebies, just start getting the knowledge flowing, right? Get the knowledge flowing and we're going to have fun together when we are in the boot camp. I promise you, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, going to love you and leave you, and I'll see you all very soon, okay? Lots of love. Bye, guys. Bye, bye, bye.